All right, so we're going to continue on with creating some cool pixel art. So in the last one, we made this little pencil here, and the pencil we used a 500 by 500 pixel artboard to start off with. So we'll do the same thing for this one. So go ahead and create new, make it set to 500 by 500 with the RGB color mode. This sort of pixels per inch is not super important, but for now, 72 pixels per inch is probably good just for web stuff. Let's just jump in by creating our grid. Once again, if you don't see this, I'll go ahead and go to Window, Workspace, and then Reset Essentials. So we're all looking at the same thing. And from here, if I just click on this little drop-down menu here, the Edit Toolbar option, and click on this little drop-down menu here and just choose Advanced, it'll give us the option of selecting our line segment tool, which if you don't see the grid tool, that's where it is. It's underneath the line segment tool. Hold it down and click on Rectangular Grid tool. Click once, make sure it's set to 500 by 500 pixels, and then 50 by 50. Press OK. If you are not a student at the Academy for Classical Education in Great Macon, Georgia, then you may not be aware that we are all required to wear our IDs. Even the teachers are required to wear IDs, or at least name tags. The students are required to wear IDs, and you gotta make sure you have your ID every day. So we want to make sure that you are a student here at ACE. So let's go ahead and make a little student ID here, complete with a profile picture, a little portrait that you took at school. And let's start off by going to Object, Live Paint, and Make, and we're going to fill this in with our Live Paint tools here. So with that done, what we'll do is we'll just grab our Live Paint bucket, which is found underneath your Shape Builder tool. So I click on my Live Paint bucket here. If you don't see that, it's under Shape Builder tool, so Shift M, you just press K on the keyboard here. And let's start off by making our little portrait, a little school portrait. So I'm gonna get in a little closer. I'm gonna hold down the Alt key and roll up with the mouse wheel. And we don't really have to create a palette because we're gonna be using pretty limited palette here. Let's start off by getting black on the keyboard. Blacken our fill, and let's just make two simple eyes. One here, and then maybe space over like 3, and then put one right there. And then it'll be our little face. We don't need to make too much detail here, but what we'll do is we will include some light and some dark. So say for instance you want to choose a skin tone, but you're having a hard time figuring out what to use for a skin tone. For me, the best option is to go to a place like Color Adobe, right? So if I go to Adobe Color, so color.adobe.com, and just look up a word like skin, so we just click off of this here and just look at the word skin. I can look around here and I can find a variety of skin tone colors. This one right here looks fine, so I might just click on this. And I don't have to like download this or anything, I can just copy this, for instance, here, and then go back over to my Illustrator and just paste this into the RGB the hexadecimal code here. Just paste that in, press enter, and now I've got this little skin tone here. So I can just maybe put this over there somewhere just to have it in case I need it again. So I'll just draw a little roughed out square around this. I might make it a bit longer on this side because this is going to be like, we're facing, in this direction over here. Eyes are so is our head. So we'll just make this little skin tone kind of like this. And then just double click on the inside here. There's a little guy. I might make this a bit lighter just to give it some highlights on the other side here. HSB, a little bit lighter here. And I might just pull, like, say for instance, a little line up there, and then double click over this way. So now we've got a little shadow and a little line there, right? So that's nice. For hair, you can just choose a variety of hair colors. If you want your hair to be like, blonde, or maybe you're a redhead, or maybe you're a dark brunette, you can just choose a variety of colors. Just pick a color that you like to serve as your hair. Hey, you want to give yourself pink hair? That's fine too. So I'll just give myself a little hair color. It's not going to be very complicated. Just a little block up here. Maybe even like have a little swoop on the top of his head, and then a little line down here to serve as his hair. There we go. Now we've got a little hair there. For the neck, we'll make this a bit darker here. Just maybe just sample the same color. Just I on the keyboard. Oops. Let's click off of this. An I on the keyboard and click once, and then maybe make this a little bit darker and just add in the neck down here. And it's not going to be a very big neck, just sort of like 3 across here, and then maybe 1 like that. Okay, with that done, let's create the little shirt. Now, over here at ACE, we have to wear these wonderful blue polo shirts or golf shirts, collared shirts, whatever you call it. Sometimes they're white, sometimes blue, but it's because, we're working on a white background. Let's go ahead and stick with blue for now. Let's pull this over here to the middle of the blue section. Find myself a navy blue, a little less saturated than this. A little more cornflower than navy, but that's okay. And we'll just rough in a shirt collar here. Like so. That's probably a bit much. So I'm just making this little color right there. And I'll make another color on this side too. I'm gonna make this a bit lighter. So lighten that up slightly. Right, there's a little color there, and then we can fill in the rest of the person's body, make it slightly darker than everything else, or rather, make it give it a two-tone shape here as well. But we'll make a slightly darker color here, or who knows? The light's coming from this way here. It looks like. All right, that's probably good. Just a little. Like that, and then we can even like maybe make this come this way here, and then what we'll do is we'll grab our lighter color, we'll lighten this up slightly. Okay, cool. All right, so with that done, we can then add in our background here. So the background, we'll make it kind of a grayish background, maybe a grayish, bluish background or greenish background, and we'll just add in this little background just by going up like so. And then maybe across, and then down. Oops. Like that. And then just double click here and double click there. And so now we've got a little profile picture here, a little portrait here. Okay, so we're gonna do something different. We're gonna go ahead and click off this and just zoom out some. And then what we'll do is we'll just go to Object and we'll go to Expand and press OK. And then from here we can just grab this guy, just kind of remove this guy here. Just double click on that until you can get him isolated. There we go. Just delete that, and then I'll just move this guy off to the side for now. All right, so to make the ID, what we're going to do is we're just going to make a new grid, and we're going to just 500 by 500, 50 by 50, press OK, and let's center this in the artboard, and let's start off in the middle here. We're just going to start off in the middle. Let's grab black for our fill, and then let's K on the keyboard. Let's go over here to, well, first let's make this into a live paint object here. K on the keyboard, just click once, and let's grab black for our fill. And let's see if we can't do some counting here. First off, what we'll do is we'll start off in the middle here. We'll start off with the word ACE. So I'm going to make the word ACE. If this is not the letters for your school, then you can make whatever letters you want for your school. If you're doing a high school ID, oh, this is too short. Let's go over here to Shift and X just to kind of erase the bottoms of all these. And I'll make this K on the keyboard. I'll make this a little bit longer so I can fit this in. Shift and X, and we'll just make E, C, and then A. Shift and X, just click once. All right, cool. There's ACE, and then across the top we can just go up maybe one or two and just go across. Maybe even go over one more on either side, and then just kind of go down 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we can kind of go down like this and down like this. Shift and X just to erase anything you don't want. Shift and X to go back to the fill, and let's grab our picture here. We'll put our picture in the middle. Sort of center this in the artboard since this whole thing is centered. We'll just nudge it over to where it's centered with the C. There we go. Cool, and let's grab back to our paint bucket tool. And we'll just kind of make this equidistant on both sides here. So it goes like 2 down past here, 1, 2, and then going across. Once again, we can erase this if we don't want it. Shift and X and just clean this up. All right, cool. And then lastly, we need to grab the fill, change it to white, and then just double click inside here. And then we can grab this whole thing, Control Shift and open bracket. And let's make a clip. Let's make a clip for it. So let's go over here to like a sort of a darker gray, and let's maybe center this up with a C here. I'll just go up 4 or 5, and then across, and then Shift and X just to make a little, kind of opening here, as if it's like a clip that you can kind of attach to something. And if you wanted to outline that with black, you could just obviously go down here to black and outline it here, and we'll just erase that. There's that. Okay, cool. Okay, neat. So let's kind of see what we got here. Let's grab everything. We'll click on this. Let's go to Object Expand, and then we'll just group all this together. Right click on it, group, and let's put in a background here. Change it to like, I don't know, orangish or something, and then Control Shift and down. Okay, cool. Look at that. That's neat. We're missing something though. Let's double click on this a couple times. All right, and let's Alt drag this up to where it fills that in. All right, there you go. And then, cool, neat. All right, so that's like we have our little school ID. Fun stuff. All right, well, before we export this, let's go over here to our artboard tool. Let's make sure our artboard tool is set to 1500 by 1500 at the very least. You can make it bigger, not too much bigger. They'll make it like 20,000 pixels, but we can make this a little bit bigger. V on the keyboard, select everything. Alt and Shift just to keep it centered, and then here we go. Make sure this is centered in the artboard. And let's export this as a JPEG. Export for screens. Call it a JPEG. Call it school ID project last name. And let's see what we got here. All right, cool. Well, can't wait to see you guys produce. I'll see you guys in class.